Vanessa item tier list. So this is available on Bazaar DB. If you click on tier lists, it sends you a link to this. Anticipate to the last hard reset. Oh, and they're just going to do like soft resets for other seasons, so you don't go all the way back. That makes sense if they're going to do matchmaking based on tier. If the start of every season, just like matchmaking didn't matter anymore, that would be pretty silly. Okay, so Cannonade. This one got reworked recently. I used to like it as like a pivot out of Trebuchet, as something that took enchants a bit better than Trebuchet, but now with them both being at gold, I just feel like every time I have the option to buy a Cannonade, it's either not good enough to go on the board, because I'd rather just be playing multiple items, or it's like I'm super desperate and it's not good enough to improve the board. You request we get out of the chest opening screen. There you go. I think around C. Shot classes. This one's one that I wasn't expecting it to feel as bad as it does. The fact that the slows and hastes can go on different things now means you can't play any type of comp that wants things to line up. I had a game a couple games ago, or a couple weeks ago, where I was trying to do... I forget what it was. I think it was a Julian board. It was like Julian Shuriken or something. But sometimes the shot classes would disalign the Julian from the Shuriken, so I just couldn't put this on my board without completely griefing. I don't actually think that I've played shot classes successfully this patch. I still have pretty high expectations for this, because it's a 3-second item that still outputs a lot of stuff, but I just feel like it doesn't fit on any of the boards. Rifle is... I've liked the early game rifle stuff, just like Rifle Powder Flask. It's not as good as it looks because it's hard to reload effectively, but if you can find the captain's quarters on time, you can play this until like day 6 or 7 pretty easily. The problem with it is you don't usually want to buy it first. So unless you already have the Powder Flask, spending the gold to speculate on a bronze rifle on day 1 or 2 is kind of scuffed. But I don't know, when you've got it, it's fine. I like it more than Cannonade for sure. Cannon. I dislike every time I have to put this item on my board, even on day 1. It doesn't do anything. It's big, it's slow. It does no damage. Sorry. This is one that I was a lot higher on last patch with the shot glasses boards. This item's not bad. It doesn't really have a home with any of the comps that I want to be playing right now. The things that made this good before was like Proboscis, and if you're doing shot glass stuff and you just cared about slows. I almost don't want to count too much against it, general metagame stuff, because if the comps that you want to play it in are good, it's a good filler item for the board. Which I guess like puts it here, maybe? It's awkward as a bronze item, because it's not really something you care about playing early on most of the time, but as you tier this up and it's slowing 2 or 3 items, even on a 7-second cooldown, it's not nothing, especially if you're doing holster stuff. Docklines, again, just like doesn't fit on a whole lot of boards, but it does fill a role. I do always think about Docklines when it shows up in the shop. It's like the best of the filler items. Throws a bunch of slows out there. It's just hard to justify spending the 8 gold to pick it up a lot of the time. I think most of the dock lines that I've played I've gotten for free out of docks or a medium item event. I don't know, does that make it better than C? How do these tiers work? I like it more than Cannonade. I almost want to drop Cannonade down. One of posters is incredible. Is it all the way at the top? It's not something you ever put on your board, but if you see this early enough, it's like 4 or 5 XP for 8 gold, 4 gold really, because it burns. You're down 8 gold for a bunch of days in order to get a bunch of XP. Time wouldn't give 4 XP for win. Yeah, it was... This item is a big part of why Vanessa gets so far ahead on XP. It's this and the Docs events. Thinking S is meta, A is strong, B is role player, C is this item isn't bad but IDK, D is this shouldn't be on my board, F is change what this item does. I mean, saying S is meta is weird, because then that ends up putting some real awkward items in S, I think. That are just like board filler items on top boards that aren't actually that good. Like cost of replacement should probably factor into it somewhat. Yeah, like Wanted Poster does something that few other items do. It gets you ahead on XP in a pretty cheap way. There are some times where you get to like upgrade it and put it in play. I've had some Oni Mask boards where I play it for my crit and then I'm getting tons of extra XP. I guess it's pivot worthy or just mega value. Yeah, maybe. We'll refine it more as we go. Ice pick. I think the only time that I have played Ice Pick has been as my frost item for Weatherglass. And it's not even the best frost item for Weatherglass. I still like it more than Cannon. At least it's small, right? I have played it more than Shot Glasses. Yeah, I've probably put it on some random weapon board and just not thought about it, just as a filler item. Because it's not terrible. It's got a reasonable cooldown. The freeze text isn't nothing. It plays well with holsters. Almost like puts it here, right? Like I play it more than I play Cannonade. But like how much of that is just due to its size? Harpoon, get out of here. Just like a really techie item that often doesn't do anything and is really slow if you don't get it all the way to diamond. It's not something you want to burn your upgrades on. I think of Submarine as an early mid-game role player. If you're trying to get scaling damage, or if you have scaling damage with like Shark Claws, Submarine can buy you the time to get kills. Generally, I would rather just be playing more weapons and getting the fight over with. But like, I don't know, I've played an okay amount of Submarines on like days 2 through 5. I like it less than Rifle for that purpose. Though it does play pretty well with Rifle. Submarine gives you time for the Rifle to scale. But like it's good because of Rifle. It's not good because of itself. Like you could just cut this for some small aquatics and you're kind of doing the same thing with it. Oni Mask's incredible. I don't know if it's S or A. It is one of the build-defining Vanessa items, for sure. I think it gets cut from the board often enough when you get some other way to scale or you don't find crit. It might just have too many pitfalls to really be S. But the games where you get good crit chance for Oni Mask and you find a fast burn item and you find incendiary rounds, this is one of the better Vanessa win conditions. Card table's a weird one. How do we evaluate card table? Harpoon and F. I've literally not put a Harpoon on my board in 10 months. When I play card table, I used to play with Zor. I haven't gotten to do the card table Zor stuff since Zor went to 7 seconds. Recently, I've just been playing it with Julian when I have a smaller Julian, or like don't find Obsidian and I need a bit more damage. Card table can get me that damage. It's a big role player right now. But like a lot of that is just due to how good Julian is. It has some history. It's been good with Shark Ray in the past when the Shark Ray comp is good. Multicast is a powerful mechanic. It's hard for me to put it lower than this. So Astrolabe was good with eels too. Yeah, it was okay with eels. It's fair. Astrolabe is a dox item, right? Is that the only thing that matters? It's like a bad dox item. Because it costs more than the other dox item. Like, I'm not usually buying star charts for 8 gold if I can avoid it. I'm also never putting this in play, where I am playing star chart a good amount of the time. How do I even evaluate this? What does that mean? It's a bad version of another item that costs more. And it doesn't have the utility where I want to put it in play. Just, like, incredibly average? I don't know. It's cool if I get it for free. Don't agree with Cannon. It enchants crazily. Let me check the Cannon enchants. The problem with Cannon enchants is, when am I enchanting a cannon? Wait, does it have crazy enchants? Heavy is slow 2 items for 2 seconds. Shield equal to this item's damage. These used to be better, right? Did they nerf cannon enchants? I thought this, like, slowed for 6 seconds or something crazy. I'm not seeing that anywhere, though. Integrated HUD is a big role player for Onimask boards. I'm trying to think if I play it with anything else. I have thrown this on some Katana Julian boards to get some interaction. Play this just on Weatherglass boards, too, that don't have Onimask to get some crit. Honestly, that was kind of good. Just, like, being able to launder another item's cooldown into a slow trigger, as long as you've got crit chance, is kind of nice. Like, if you've got full crit on your Weatherglass activating slows 5 things. It is your slow item for Weatherglass. No shoutouts on the same level as Oni. Well, it's just like, how do you compare the 2 items, right? Like, this is a win condition, this is a support item. The cost of replacement on this is pretty high. Like, what is it comparing to? Corzina Crest? It's generally way better than Corzina Crest. Even though it's only giving the crit to 1 item. Clamora? It's throwing out more slows than Clamora on the boards that it's good on. But, like, they do completely different things. It's hard to compare win conditions and support items, but it is a very good support item. Am I higher on Wanted Poster than Star Chart? Does it matter? I'm willing to buy Wanted Poster for 8 gold. I'm not usually willing to buy Star Chart for 8 gold. Wanted Poster continues to be good after day 7. Star Chart stops being good after day 7. Like, you're not usually buying Star Chart after day 5, but you will still buy Wanted Poster. I don't know. Then there's the games that you play Star Chart, though. How much does that extra utility matter? Most of the things that this does is just it turns your Docs event into 5 golden and XP, but cooldown reduction plus crit chance is pretty big. Stars and S, you're a freak. I don't know. It's definitely for the boards that want to play it, and you're happy to buy it at higher tiers. It's probably up here. But most of the time I'm buying Star Chart, or I'm considering buying Star Chart, I have no intention of playing it. So I'm just gonna, like, skip over it if it's too late, or if it's silver or gold. We said a poster, though. I'm buying poster as long as there's, like, more than 3 or 4 wins left, and I've got gold. Star Chart's not really the same. Like, I just won't buy a silver Star Chart on day 6. I will almost always buy a Wanted Poster on day 6. I don't know, S tier is looking pretty barren. I'll leave it in S for now, but it might get pushed down. Blunderbuss. What does Blunderbuss do? Is it like when you burn, use it? It's just bad pistol sword because it needs ammo. I feel like this can't actually be that bad, but I've never wanted to play it. I don't think I have seen any opponents play it. The ammo is just such a big cost. Just, like, very low confidence, throw it in D, it might belong in F. Which is kind of crazy considering the text on the card. Diamond only. Oh, it is diamond only. Like, when you burn, use this is really powerful, but being limited by ammo makes it not very powerful. Seen insane boards with repeater, blunderbuss, heated shells. Insta-kill if you have enough base damage. Sure. But the hard part of that is the base damage. Like, the ammo boards are good at killing you if they have high enough base damage. Needs base damage and a bunch of ammo. And it's so hard to get the bunch of ammo on it. Where, unlike with, like, shuriken and dive weights, you can be stacking your gunpowders on it all game, you're getting the blunderbuss so late. Lockbox can be high base. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's impossible to get high base damage. It's just, if you have high base damage, that's 90% of the problem solved. Like, you could be doing something else and also winning. Where does the boulder go? I have not had a boulder game this patch. I have lost to a few boulders. I probably don't pivot to it as much as I should. It is a win con. B for boulder. That's fair. Like, the problem that I have with boulder is that solving all of the problems that you need to solve is even harder than solving the Oni Mask problems. Not only do you need to make the boulder really fast, which is inherently a very difficult problem to solve to make your large item quick, but you also kind of need to have crit. Or just, like, any amount of shield beats you. If boulder did, like, 1,000 more damage than the opponent's health, I would feel so much better about this item. But as it is, it's just so hard to make it feel playable. Boulder is the least important item on its board. Yeah, it's like, you could build up towards a boulder, or you could just play Julian right now. 110% HP damage. That might not be enough, but I still probably wouldn't feel super comfortable with that, but maybe. Or Xena Crest. It's an early enabler for Oni Mask, kind of. I'm not really happy to be playing it. It feels so much worse than it used to be at just like 10, 15, 20. But I do play it more than I play the rest of these items in C tier. Part of that's just due to it being bronze. It enchants really well. That's fair, that's fair. I mean, maybe it's supposed to go up here. I don't know. Must enchant carriers if you're in a crest board. Yeah, I have had a few just like fiery Corzina crest games with Oni Mask, and those are pretty sweet. Tiny Cutlass. Not a Vanessa item. Seashell. Just more early role players. C is gonna get really cluttered, isn't it? Like, it's an item. It exists. I'm not gonna complain if I have a seashell on my board on day 3. It works. Not something that I want to keep around, but a lot of defense. Old Saltclaw. I don't know why they nerfed this item. I think I would have had it, like, here before the nerfs, and now I never play it. I actually do play it less than Submarine, despite being a small. It's maybe playable at, like, Diamond. Maybe. It's just so slow. It's so slow. Shipwreck's weird. How good Shipwreck is kind of directly proportional to how good the aquatic board in general is, and how often you're able to buy a Shipwreck. I don't think I have played a Shipwreck this patch, but that's not because the Shipwreck boards are bad, it's because the games where you play aquatics and don't find Shipwreck, you don't have a board. And you're just not going to find a Shipwreck most of the time, so you can't play towards it. But, like, what does that mean for its placement? Like, you're not gonna full pivot into Shipwreck when you see it in your shop. But the situations where it's good, it's really good. It's just, it should never be good. If that makes sense. Uh, yeah, I guess. That makes sense. It all depends if you have some anchors or star chart silencer in stash. Do you regularly keep anchors in your stash? Like, I used to do that more when the aquatic boards were more reasonable, but I haven't really liked the anchor stuff recently. I don't know. Shovel's a econ item. It at least does some damage now with it being somewhat fast. I play it less than I play Seashell. I also buy it less than I buy Seashell. uh, I buy it more than Docklines. I'm generally happier to have a Docklines on my bench than a shovel. There's so many sicko smalls now. Are there? I used to feel better about. I have no reason for why I feel this way. I have not thought about it other than the experience that I have had with shovels. I feel like I used to get better shit out of shovel than I have the last couple months. Press F11. Does it screw with the capture? I can try. I guess that works. It's a bit better. The pool's more diluted. Yeah, like you don't get as many proboscises out of the shovel as you used to. You don't get as many Uzis. Concealed dagger. I keep forgetting this is a Vanessa item. I don't know. It's not that bad. It's certainly not as bad as I want to rate it. But, God, it's good in the least interesting way an item can be good. It's just like you buy it, you play it for some PvE fights, and it turns a profit over a couple days, and then you sell it, and hooray, you generated a bunch of gold in exchange for your attention. Cool. I never bother with it. You probably should bother with it. It doesn't really matter. Pearl's 6 seconds now, right? Did they buff Pearl back again? Pearl's back to 5. Pearl's back to 5. Pearl used to be really good for shipwreck combos, where you would do like a Pearl Jellyfish, Pufferfish Shipwreck, and you would have very easy, fast infinites. I have not seen anybody doing that this patch. Probably because even when you have a 0-second start, Puffer still kills too slow, but that's neither here nor there. I have seen this played a couple times with Water Wheel. I don't know if that's worth doing. I would just like leave it in. I do buy it less than I buy Seashell, but the boards that Pearl's good on, Pearl is build enabling. I just don't know if I've seen any builds that have been enabled by Pearl in the last 2 months, despite the unbonking. I play more seaweeds or seashells than seaweeds. I don't know. That has to be wrong. I definitely keep the seaweed around longer than I keep the seashell around. I guess part of that's just because this drops from a fight. A fight that I go to very often. Hey, Elias. But yeah, pretty much all of the early game aquatic boards, happy to jam a seaweed. I'm not usually playing it that long, but I don't know. It's a good defensive item for boards that have like a dive weights. Okay, what are the text on? Every time I read Musket, I get really disappointed. 6 seconds. At silver, deal 100. Ammo 1. When you burn with an adjacent item, reload this. So it doesn't crit anymore. It's a 6-second cooldown. 100 damage. If you're on a weapon board, you might buy this to just get a 100 damage item to try to close out fights. But I feel like I'd never be happy about it. Really playable if you get it early, but it's the ultimate guess you have a lighter item on days 2 to 5. It's just like, is it even that good when you get it early? 100 damage on a 6-second cooldown for a silver. It's not bad rate, but not good. I've had a couple games where Calico looked real good tonight. Though it was Obsidian every time, right? I like Obsidian Calico a lot. I think its base numbers are just a little bit too low typically to be good. You can play it early on weapon boards. It scales pretty well off Shark Claws with the cooldown being a little bit longer than the claws. It not lining up with Shuriken is really sad, though. Fine, middle of the pack item. Still not a Vanessa item. Go away. Wait, how many items are there? Oh my god, we're gonna be here all night. Beach ball, beach ball, beach ball, beach ball. Generally just another, like, mid-game role player to get your hastes enabled. You can play it with, what's it called? The fish that gains poison when you haste it. Definitely can't put it in B. It's not as good as seaweed. Just goes in C for the items from the sea. I don't know. I played an okay amount. You can use it to, like, speed up Shark Claws too. Coral. I play a good number of corals. I don't know, these are just like all the same item to me. The seaweed, seashell, coral. They go on the same boards. Seaweed has the higher condition of, if you meet the condition of playing a bunch of aquatics that are fast, seaweed gets good. Otherwise, these are just like filler defensive items that you get to throw on your board. They're not exciting. They're always temporary, but they give you some defenses. Pop Snappers is not the most exciting item. It does have a home right now with Oni Mask. It used to have a home in Powder Keg, getting 2 burn triggers off of 1 item. I don't know, it probably can't be too much higher than this, but just a solid role player item. Happy to play it on the boards that it's good on. The ammo can be a bit of a problem. It is generally going to be worse than lighter, but at the same time, it's a second lighter. It's a toy early game. That's fair. That's fair. You don't usually struggle to have that event enabled on Vanessa, but it is worth mentioning. Disguise is a Cove item. It's a Julian item. I think the only times that I've bought Disguise have either been when I have infinite money and I want to see if I can hit something funny, or I have a Julian and I just want to cycle value onto the Julian. I think I have once in my life gotten that item that I wanted to play off of Disguise. I don't know. I've also never put the Disguise itself in play. That said, I do buy it more than I buy most of the items in C tier. But that's mostly because of other items rather than itself. Barrel. It's like a bad version of the small aquatics, generally, is how I think of it. Is Barrel still just buffing off of adjacents? Yeah. Remember the last time you played a Barrel? Yeah, they're just better items at small that have tags you care about. I'll play it on day 1 sometimes, but I'm never happy about it, and I'm always looking to get it off the board as quick as I can. When Sexton is good, it is one of the best items you can have on your board. But the conditions for Sextant to be good are kind of hard to meet. You need to have fast items with good crit chance, which, on one hand, is something that you want to be doing anyway. But it's kind of hard to do. Like, I wouldn't want to play a Sextant with 50% crit most of the time. You also need to have extra haste on this, whether that's by upgrading it to gold or diamond or throwing a curio buff on it. Yeah, it plays really well on some Oni Mask boards. Either Katana or Nesting Doll can be used to trigger this every 2 seconds. gets you a lot of haste for your burn items that matter. You want to have fast activations in general to both get crits and trigger your incendiary rounds. I think I also played it on a couple Weatherglass boards. I have used this in the past as a puffer enabler, though not recently. I don't know, like here? I don't think it goes all the way in A. I'm beginning to feel this grappling hook is a little bit too high. Let's push that down a bit. Around where card table is feels right. Throwing knives. Throwing knives just feels like a filler weapon to me, generally. It's fine. Not really great ways to reload it. Can trigger pistol sword a bunch. It is pretty good at that. I don't know. When I think the ammo boards, the items that I want to be playing, it's like the ones that multicast. Shuriken, dive weights, pistol sword. Above average filler if you have plus ammo. Yeah, it just kind of needs a lot of plus ammo. Like, plus 1 ammo is not really enough. Maybe if you've got like 5 ammo on throwing knives, it gets pretty good. I don't know. Around where Calico is. I do play more Calicos than throwing knives. Dark water anglerfish. Man, the shot glasses nerf kind of crushed this thing. I think I tried to play it like twice. It's just kind of a worse version of the other burn boards. You would think that it plays well with Oni Mask, because they both benefit from having a bunch of slows. But Oni Mask's not really a slow board. And playing Anglerfish means you can't play Pet Rock, which is how you get your crit a good amount of the time, or at least how you get some of your crit a good amount of the time. Poor Anglerfish. Yeah, Vents just kind of does what it's trying to do better. If there was more of a reason to want to play the slow version of the Oni Mask board, maybe. But generally with Mask, the problem that you're working to solve is 1, just fast activations, and 2, crit. And you're mostly ignoring the slow mode on Oni Mask and just using it as your scaling item. If you try to maximize all of the value out of Oni Mask, you just end up with not being able to solve any of your problems. And the board just falls apart. Iceberg? How do I feel about Iceberg? Every time I play Iceberg, it always lets me down. There's some boards that just can't beat an Iceberg. There's other boards that just kind of laugh at you for playing an Iceberg. It's an A. I disagree. I never want to be an Iceberg. I don't know where that puts it, but it's the kind of thing where if I'm panicking and need a board, I will buy an Iceberg and hope that I spike good matchups. But Iceberg never wants to be plan A. Iceberg very situational. The problem with it isn't that it's situational based on what you're doing. It's situational based on things that you have no control over. Like, not only do you need to get like the scaling skills to scale off of freezes, but you also need to run into opponents that are activating items a bunch and not just trying to bonk you once or twice. There's just so many auto-lose matchups when you're built around Iceberg. Can feel good on some of the depth charge boards. Yeah, that's one of the things you can try to do with it. It has the same problem, though, where you'd rather just be playing things that make your depth charge faster and be more proactive rather than try to fish for matchups. Like, I've played it on depth charge a couple times. I think every time I ended on 9 wins because I just ran into one too many board that did not care about Iceberg. And spending 3 slots on Iceberg is a huge ask. Cauterizing Blade. I think I have the pieces that make me want to play this. It's been pretty good the few times that I've run it. It's just never the thing that I want to be doing. It's very good if you get the Snowstorm skill or Poison enchant with Yeti Crab. And you run into opponents that activate items a bunch. That's the problem with it. The problem's not that it's too much work to make Iceberg good. That is one of the issues that it has. But there's also a significant number of fights where it's just an irrelevant item that's taking up 3 slots on your board because your opponent's just killing you in 2 or 3 activations. Like, I really value being proactive, and Iceberg is the opposite of that. Prioritizing play is one of the things you'd want to be doing if Shuriken and Julian didn't exist. That's fair. I think I can get behind that. I don't know, it's not bad. I definitely don't play it that much, but like I also don't play Boulder that much. It falls off a bit harder than Boulder. Eels. I kind of feel the same way about Eels as I feel about Iceberg. Generally, if I'm playing Julian boards, I'm going to lean towards the more proactive versions of it, with like Shuriken or Katana or things that I have control over the speed of. That said, if you can get a bunch of CDR on Eels, or like you can haste your Eels reliably and have it activate quickly, it does still get proactively pretty fast. Like, I think I had a run earlier this patch where I had a base 3.5 Eels that was hasted from 2 seconds. And that didn't feel too bad even if my opponent wasn't activating a bunch of items into the Eels. But, like, those are the only Eel boards that I like to play. That said, I mean, still significantly better than Iceberg. Why is grappling hook so high? Let's bring you down a bit. Pistol Sword. Pistol Sword's a good one. The cost of replacement on Pistol Sword this patch is higher than it has been most of the time. Or is lower than it's been most of the time. There's other items that do what Pistol Sword does in a pretty similar way. That said, you're often going to want to have 2 of them. But like Pistol Sword, Surfboard, and Bayonet often sort of fill the same role. High because of Proboco. I might have. Pistol Sword's the one that is the most situational. You can't play it with Katana. I don't know how much that really matters. Most of the time these things are good is because you're playing them with Shuriken dive weights. Sword is way better than Pistol Sword. The thing is, like, the boards often play both. I do think Surfboard goes above Pistol Sword, but they are both build enabling. Pistol Sword also has the utility of just being in mass weapon boards sometimes, where you wouldn't want to play Surfboard in those boards. Granted, those boards are generally worse, but I don't know. I think A is fine. Shoeblade's definitely better than I give it credit. I keep forgetting that this thing got buffed. It plays pretty well with Oni Mask in the early game, just giving you a guaranteed crit at 7 seconds. It as a weapon isn't that exciting. But, I don't know. I think if I was lower on Oni Mask, I think I'd have it down here. But I think with Oni Mask existing, it goes to, like, the bottom of B. Just a solid role player. Ramrod sucks. I don't know. I'd be playing Powderhorn over this every time. This taking up 2 spaces is so rough. Why'd take the crit away from this? Ramrod F tier. It does have some utility over Powder Flask. Like, it is a double Powder Flask. If you really care about reloading 2 ammo items, which I don't think you should most of the time. I think it's F. I mean, sometimes you see Ramrod before Powder Flask, and you really need reload. It has a reason to exist, even if it's not optimal on most boards. Where, like, I'm never playing Harpoon. I'm never playing Cannon after, like, day 2. This is at least narrow enough of an item, or, like, fills enough of a niche, that even if it's a bad version of another item, you're still gonna buy it sometimes to put on your board. Ramrod Gold? I'm pretty sure it's silver. Yeah, it's silver. Hasn't it always been silver? Wait, when was it gold? Hand axe. It's like, this isn't a hot take, right? It's like a really solid early game item. I've kept hand axes on my board on like day 8, day 9, more than I want to admit. It's kind of great. I think this is reserved for like the really premium items that you're thinking about all game, but I like putting it at top of B. Why is rifle this high? Rifle should not be this high. Custom scope. It's good when it's good. It's just rarely good. It plays on the like Katana Julian boards or the Eel Julian boards. So often when I'm thinking about playing custom scope, I'm looking at my board and seeing all of the things that I could give charge to, and half of them just don't matter that much. A lot of the times that I have one weapon on my board, it's like an Oni Mask board, and the charge just ends up looking so scuffed everywhere. Would rather be playing integrated HUD on my weapon. Like, I don't even think it goes in B. It's like in here somewhere. It's like kind of a role player. It's not a super important role player. I think half the time that I have played custom scope, I ended up cutting it before the end of the game. It's also just the kind of item that makes you want to play bad boards, where you just have your weapon and your one non-weapon, and then you pray to not run into freezes. Yeah, let's knock that down for incentivizing you to play bad boards. Chum. See, this is another really weird one, where it should probably be an S in terms of amount of times that you buy it. But you're often just buying it for +1 gold on Ambergris or +2 gold from Cove. Chum is S tier. It's just like, how do you value that? It doesn't do that much. It's just a little bit of free value. Chum is, yeah, exactly. It's just like, I almost want to not even take the economy aspect into account. It's fine to put an ARS. It's a half-price version of a completely playable weapon. I mean, that would be the argument for it. I don't think it belongs there. Like, I think the framing of how much worse would Vanessa be if Chum didn't exist is a good way to think about it. Like, how much does it change how the character plays if Chum doesn't exist? Shark Claws. How do I feel about Shark Claws? I think I was a bit lower on them before tonight. But they felt pretty good as just an early game role player tonight. While we were playing the weapon boards. I don't know, it's like somewhere around here, probably. Having scaling early on is just so important. And this gets you that scaling. Holds you over until you can find your skills that make your board strong, or your figurehead to make your board strong. Slumbering Primordial. I have yet to play a Slumbering Primordial. I've lost to a couple of them. This thing got a lot worse with the ICD changes, right? It seems so hard to justify wanting to play this. It's cool, though. I'm pretty sure coolness keeps it out of F. I don't know. I've lost to it more than I've lost to these items in F. If your opponent is using Slumbering Primordial, you will root for them. Yeah, same. Which is maybe not a great testament to its playability, but here it is anyway. Dart Launcher. I'm kind of high on Dart Launcher. It sucks at silver, but at gold, just being a 4-second cooldown item that slows 2 things and gets curio buffs is kind of nice. You do need to play another slow alongside it, but A lot of boards can do that. It plays well with Kusurigama. I've played just like Dart Launcher plus Clamora on a bunch of boards before. It has 4 ammo by default, so you don't even really need to give it ammo most of the time. It's like somewhere around here. Why is card table so high? Why is Sextant so high? Why is Corzina Crest so high? Oh. Boulder is sneaking its way to the top of B tier. Not sure how that's happening. Water Wheel's been growing on me. I don't usually play it all game, though I have played it all game a couple times. I've used this as my Julian speed more than once on like day 12, and it was still good enough. I play a lot of Katana boards, and Water Wheel just plays naturally pretty well with Katana. It's like honestly one of the better haste items. Top of B, bottom of A. Water Wheel's come a long way. Just activating it 4 seconds after Katana activates twice is such a nice breakpoint. Just get 4 seconds, haste your whole board, and you're usually going to be able to keep full uptime from there. The big downside of it is it takes up 3 slots on your board, but if you can afford the 3 slots for haste, it's one of the better ways to do it. Gold one activates at 3 seconds with Fang and Revolver. Yeah. A sniper rifle. Oh no. I am going to probably get a little bit of hate for this. It just seems like the worst of the payoffs. Unless you get it to diamond, it never does enough damage. Getting it to diamond is a struggle. There's often other things on your board that you want to be upgrading to. It's slow as shit. If you're trying to play it with Julian too, and your Julian gets slowed, your board just doesn't work. There's just so many things that go wrong when you try to play Sniper Rifle. And I think I've experienced all of them on both sides of the table at this point. And I don't play a lot of Sniper Rifle. You see a big Julian, you're so relieved to see a Sniper Rifle. Yeah, same. Switchblade. I'm really high on 4-second cooldown Switchblade. Like, really, really high on 4-second cooldown Switchblade. It's still generally just a temporary role player, but man, it is a small 4-second cooldown that has other benefits. It is a real good item. Scales up your katana early. Gets you a little bit of extra damage on your shuriken, potentially. Did I mention it's a 4-second cooldown? Like, if you're playing katana plus wetware, this is just another thing that triggers wetware pretty quickly. What an item. What an item. Submersible. Where did I put submarine? It has to be at least a little bit above submarine. I don't know if it's a full tier above submarine. About like a row above submarine. It's a bit smaller, but it's conditional. It's pretty cool if you see submersible and captain's wheel in some early shops. Like, you pick up a captain's wheel on spec, and then you see a submersible, and you play that package for a little bit. I don't know. Like, submersible is a katana alternative on Julian boards. Yeah. Last time I did that, I ended up just cutting the submersible for a katana, though. The difference between 2 seconds and 3 seconds is so big. Submersible, one of Vanessa's A-tier weapons? Nope. I do not think so. I think the item is incredibly mediocre. Honing Steel, just kind of a filler thing. You play it early sometimes. It's whatever. Fishing Rod. This used to be a bigger deal when you were looking to get dupes of pearls and dupes of jellyfish. Now sometimes it gives you dupes of dive weights. I think I have bought more fishing rods just to try to get a Yeti crab for my depth charge than I have for anything else. It's fine. It's good. I guess sometimes you play it too. I have put fishing rod on a few boards early on. That might bump it up a bit. Like, it's better to play than it is to play shovel. Yeah. I'll put it at the bottom of B. Cannonball. It's fine. It gets some ammo. It's pretty okay with shuriken. Sometimes pretty okay with dive weights if you don't care about the cooldown. Early game, it can get you some ammo on items that care about that. It's fine. It's an item. It exists. Patches tomorrow. Butterfly swords. This thing gets more multicast as you upgrade it, but I never want to upgrade it. Its cooldown's 8 seconds at all tiers, right? Yeah. It's just kind of a bad shuriken. Like, personally, I just never play this thing. But I guess if theoretically I were to get a diamond one in a shop on a board that cared about it, I wouldn't feel too bad about playing it. On some holsters boards, maybe. Yeah, like, you're not going to go out of your way to upgrade it, but if you see a diamond one, maybe you think about it. Swashbuck is an item that I used to play a lot. And now I almost never play. I always think about it when I see it in the shop, and it just never ends up being enough. There's other things that care about adjacency so much more. And spending 2 slots on this just always feels like a scam. I don't know. Plays well with submersible. It's not even that much damage. It depends how much crit you have, but yeah. Any more we got left? Holy fuck. Kusarigawa. I buy this thing a lot when I'm playing weapon boards, and a lot of the time it just never ends up going in play. I should probably stop buying this at silver. It's really good at gold. And it's incredible at diamond. Next to dart launcher. I don't know. It's a way to get scaling. This was a lot better back when shot glasses was an item that I wanted to put on my board. A meme spear. I mean, if you manage to win your player fights, it's really good. If you don't win your early fights, it's pretty bad. Perfectly balanced. Let's try to keep this in the middle of the chart as much as possible. Javelin. What is... When this is hasted, reload this. 2 ammo, 5-second cooldown, deal 120. I mean, I generally like this a lot more than I like musket. Wait. This has 2 ammo, does 120 damage on a 5-second cooldown, and it's on haste to reload it. Musket is a 6-second cooldown with 1 base ammo, and you have to burn with an adjacent item. Why are people defending musket? Let him, you're 100% sure you don't buy enough. I mean, I think about this item a lot, and it's just rarely worth putting on the board. When it's good, it's fine. When you have like a couple filler items that you need replacing, Javelin can be your replacement for those filler items, but it's generally going to be temporary, and it's never exciting. I play it more than Docklines, I guess. Definitely buy it more than Docklines. Trebuchet. I think I have played the new Trebuchet once. Was really disappointed by it, and just never bought it again. It does get some pretty cool enchants. Turbo enchant tastes 3 items for 1 second, so it almost just goes infinite with itself in a bunch of ways. But, like... It's just not enough damage. It's just not enough damage. 150 to 250 damage on a 10-second cooldown. Burn 15 to burn 25. It's being crushed under Monkey and Shuriken's Iron Fist. Yeah, it's like kind of the same problem as Ballista. The thing is, even if you get a fast start with Trebuchet, it still just takes so long to kill them. Rather Cannonade than Treb? Yeah, same. Where is Cannonade? Oh, Cannonade's down here. Trebuchet is one of those items you don't want because it appears late game and you have better things to pivot to. Yeah. Yeah. Tripwire. I have played Tripwire recently. And being a bit smaller than Iceberg makes it not feel as bad when your opponent doesn't play into it. That said, the reward is also a lot lower. I don't know. They're very similar items. It's easier to get the scaling on Tripwire with Kusarigama. Iceberg needs you to find Shatter. Or like Yeti Crab poison enchant stuff. Fiery Tripwire Blaze Howl. Oh, I think that was what I did, yeah. It was something like that. We used it to trigger Blaze Howl. Lockbox. I'm getting higher and higher on this as I play with it more. We did have a game earlier tonight where we just jammed a lockbox as our damage scaling. You do need to find it early for that to work, and you are really reliant on finding Sterling to upgrade it quickly, but it can function as a better figurehead sometimes. I feel like it's just too situational in terms of how often you get to buy it to put it that high. Most of the time I'm buying Lockbox, it's just to scale up Julian. I like buy it on day 6, hold on to it for 3 or 4 days, and then sell it for a bunch of Julian, but it's good. It's hard to go wrong with buying, too. You're usually going to get your money back. Piano. This is one of the better haste options, I think. I also want to put it above Water Wheel. This item's, like, kind of underrated. Maybe that's just because I play so many Katana boards, though. When do I play Piano outside of Katana boards? Is it just Katana boards? When do I play Water Wheel outside of Katana boards? It's the same thing. I do play with Oni Mask sometimes. No. Like Piano Lighter? Yeah. Piano and Tortuga boards? Yeah, I just haven't really had any Tortuga boards recently. Yeah, you can like Piano your Lighter plus Nesting Doll on the Oni Mask board. Water Wheel also haste items that aren't the Katana. Yeah, if you care about that. Presumably why you're playing Water Wheel? Not necessarily. Sometimes you just care about your Katana going fast. It depends. Revolver! What a sad item. They took away its crit chance. This is like one of the more sad ammo items. I'm never really happy to play it. That said, I do play it more than every other M&D, so I guess it goes up a bit. Something I'm always looking to get off the board, but Grenade. Grenade at silver is nuts. Grenade at bronze is really sad. Grenade might be one of the biggest losers out of B1, B2 not showing up until day 3. It's like middle of the pack at C. It's fine. It's pretty good even. Shuriken. Probably goes around here. It is one of the win cons you can do with Julian. It's something to do with hoverboard too. The reason that I hesitate is because I think dive weights is generally better for most of these boards, just because it's faster and doesn't throw all of its ammo out at once. So you've got some backup plan. I'll put it here for now. Glamora! Also, an incredible item. One of the ways to get start of combat combos going, though those are a little less prevalent than they used to be. But a pretty nice start of combat slow, can just slot it in on a lot of boards if you've got an open space. Even if you're not using it for combos, it's still very good. When you are using it for combos to trigger like charge from slow burn or slow poison, Getting those to start at 0 seconds is great. Diamond Clam is like a 4-second cooldown too. Just an incredible item. I will almost always buy the first clam that I see, just for the option to play it later on. A lot of different boards want a clam. Weatherglass, I am a lot higher on with the cooldown going as low as it does now. Clam should be S tier. I could get behind it. I'm not sure what the S tier is going to be at this point. We'll probably reorganize it as everything finishes. Yeah, so it used to be 8 seconds at all tiers. Now at silver, Weatherglass starts at 7, and at diamond, it goes all the way down to 5. And it benefits from both of the charge skills. All 3 of the charge skills, just like Depth Charge does. Slow Poison, Slow Burn, and Poison Burn. Weatherglass is not only great standalone, but is a way to pivot out of Oni Mask. It also just increases the ceiling of your Oni Mask board. Like, you can play Weatherglass with Oni Mask and use it as your scaling. You can scale it with Oni Mask, you can scale it with Toxic Flame, you can scale it with the relics from Temple. It's both reasonably fast to incredibly fast, and there's plenty of ways to scale it up. And it's a tool item, so it doesn't get griefed by Hanger. I legitimately feel like Weatherglass is one of Vanessa's best win cons this patch. I almost like it. If you could reliably see Weatherglass the same way you could reliably see Julian, I would play more Weatherglass boards than Julian boards. But just the reliability of Julian makes you play it more. Catfish. Yeah, you're just the peak of mediocre. You're okay early on. I'm cutting you even when I have a board that's good for it. Not really something that scales into the late game. Pretty good in the early mid, though. Can get you a win con on very defensive boards. Crow's Nest is not what it used to be. Even on single weapon boards, I am not finding myself playing very many Crow's Nests. What was the last Crow's Nest I played? So much of the burst on these single weapon boards happens late enough into the fight off of Julian that like it doesn't even keep you alive as well as it used to. Like if you're playing it for the crit more than anything else. I like it more than Iceberg. Current meta, Chasing Freezes Night Money Tree, so hostile to single weapon Crow's Nest. Yeah, true. Mr. Richardson. Where's Old Salt Claw? Let's put him right below Old Salt Claw. They're similar items. You could argue that the boards that care about this sort of effect want defenses more than offense, because they're probably scaling their damage in some other way. Yeah, we put him above Old Salt Claw. Very similar items, though. Stealth Glider does not currently exist. I believe this got disabled due to some bug. That said, even when it was enabled, it just never came up. The theoretical Boulder Stealth Glider board is a cool idea, but it just never came together. Maybe it would be different now with gold odds being better. Like, it's easier to find things that start at gold. Let's put it in C for cool. I can't put it at the bottom of C. It's going above Revolver. I'm sorry, Revolver. Powderhorn, just a solid early game role player. You can't really complain about it. It's good. It goes on boards. Holsters is still Holsters. Though Holsters is less of Holsters than it used to be with so many of these boards caring about mediums. Holsters is still Holsters. It does really need to get to Diamond. Like, a 1 second Holsters is not that exciting. And there's a lot of boards that just can't play it. Like, the Weatherglass boards aren't usually excited to play it. It's great on the Shuriken boards. It usually doesn't fit on the Oni Mask boards. It doesn't fit on the Katana versions of the Oni Mask boards. It fits on the Nesting Doll versions. Most Julian boards can't play it. I guess that's the biggest thing against Holsters, is just you can't play it on most Julian boards. Yeah, okay. Yeti Crab. This is kind of the thing that makes Depth Charge playable. One of the things that makes Depth Charge playable. It is one of a couple of freeze items that you can play for Weatherglass too. It's an important role player. It's a lot better for Depth Charge than it is for Weatherglass. You're not usually playing a bunch of freezes with this, but... Zorsid. We're gonna reorganize the A's and B's at the end, probably. It's still very good after being nerfed to 7. That's it, it does get cut a lot. Still very good with heated shells. I weirdly don't get to play this on a lot of my Oni Mask boards. Just not quite enough burn instances. Ah. Zor is still Zor. I guess nerf to Zor is probably Captain's Wheel becoming a real item. Maybe. The 7-second cooldown is... You feel it. You used to be able to just play Zor with no burns, and it was still like a reasonable item in the early mid-game. Now a lot less so. Volcanic Vents is one of my favorite early game starts. I do end up playing it late, an embarrassing amount of the time too, where I've just like thrown too many cinders on it. I never want to cut it. It's almost always good because of Oni Mask, but it gets you your crits, it gets you your burns. If you've got some early burn or some early crits, it lines up pretty well with like Shoeblade, where the Shoeblade triggers the Oni Mask before the Vents happens, and you have the bonus damage for all the Vents multicast. Yeah. But not something you're usually playing all game, so I'll just leave it in B. Also plays really well with Zor. Really well with Zor. Port can give you plasma grenades. It just costs so much to buy. Where'd I put Fishing Rod? Where is Fishing Rod? Put it all the way up there. I think it's a little bit below Fishing Rod. There's not many boards that I care about fishing for the things for port. I would buy this a lot when I had like Proboscis, because there's a bunch of good ammo items for that. Nowadays, I feel like if I'm buying port, I'm mostly fishing for Uzi. Catfish C. It's at least B. Nah, I think it's about a C. Double barrel. Less exciting than it used to be. There's just like other weapons that you can play instead of it. It's still fine. Where do I have the other early game weapons? Got grenade over here. I do think barrel is generally better than grenade. It plays better with skills than the grenade does. God, there's still so many. Jite! It is fine. Really just a filler item. I've put it on some Kusurigama boards. I've played it next to Dart Launcher in order to enable it. Not usually excited about it. It's fine. Tortuga. I've rarely lost to Tortugas this patch. It just starts showing up so late. It's so hard to try to plan for it, too. Did it get nerfed at all? What are the numbers on this thing? Why does it feel so much worse? It shouldn't feel that much worse. It's the same item, right? It's just that it doesn't show up until day 6. Blunderbuss D. The situations where Blunderbuss are good are just the situations where you're winning no matter what you're playing. Like, if you've already got the damage to make Blunderbuss a relevant item, or you've got the ammo to make Blunderbuss a relevant item, there's other things you can be doing. There's way more Blunderbusses that aren't playable. Started at silver, that's what was good about it. Yeah, but it was so bad at silver. Like, you didn't play it until you upgraded it to gold anyway, most of the time. I just never see good Tortuga boards. I never want to be playing a Tortuga board. It feels like it shouldn't have fallen this far, but you knew you had it already. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. Jellyfish. I never play the boards that care about jellyfish anymore. I do kind of like it early on, but then it just kind of goes here. Around where the catfish is. It's got way more long-term utility than the catfish for boards that you don't want to play. When's the last time I got any value out of a jellyfish? When's the last time I played a Arbalist or a Shark Ray? This feels so wrong, but just never want to play the boards where it matters. I think jelly stays relevant longer than catfish at the moment. I mean, the reasons why it would stay relevant for longer is if you cared about the haste triggers. But I'm just never in the boards that care about the haste triggers. I never want to be in the boards that care about the haste triggers. I agree that it's better than catfish, but I don't know by how much. I have not had a lighthouse game yet. I think I've lost to one lighthouse. I feel like it can't be that bad. It's just... Even when I'm in burn, I never want to swap my current burn setup to play lighthouse. It's just so big. It's hard to play it with the Oni mask because it doesn't crit. Maybe if you have like a Blaze Howl Warden setup with slows. I don't even want to put it at C with how rarely it looks good. It's like a very low confidence D. It's Cutlass the same way. How far have the Crow's Nest boards fallen? I don't even want to be playing Cutlass early most of the time. I almost feel like I'd rather lose early fights than like invest into a Cutlass to try to win early fights. Oh, this is such a D. Yeah, it's just, man. I used to like Cutlass quite a bit. And I'm not really sure what changed. But every time I've played Cutlass, it's been so bad. The point where it starts being like terrible is so abrupt too. You'll like win pretty comfortably on day 5, and then all of a sudden your board is completely unplayable. It lines up really poorly with Julian too. I guess that's probably the biggest thing. Captain's quarters. I generally like playing this thing through the mid game. I think it's better than. It's probably better than Shark Claws. Shark Claws being bronze is so nice. Just being able to buy it, know that you have it. Poster and chart are the only S tier items. I might move stuff around. I'm definitely gonna move stuff around when we're done. Like, the amount of games where I've been, okay, now we need to find a captain's quarters is probably more often than the amount of times that I see a captain's quarters in the shop and then roll over it. And also, most of the time that I'm on a board that really wants to find captain's quarters, I'm in a really hopeless situation where I probably just shouldn't be in that position to begin with. I think that's my biggest problem with captain's quarters. But when it's good, it's good. It just sucks how late it shows up. I don't know. Like double-digit number of games where quarters are under 10-win board. Were they like early 10 wins? I'm usually looking to not have to play this all game. Share. Pufferfish. Pufferfish probably has some bonus utility, right? Maybe. Being able to get quarters at day 2 is pretty sick. Yeah, it's just you never do. Like, most of the time you're seeing it on day 4, and you gotta, like, think, how do I want to put this on my board? Do I want to warp my board to play a captain's quarters? Is it worth it? I Look, if you get a pufferfish, and you get a good enchant on it, and you've got it charge looping, puffer can't be better tier than catfish and jellyfish. Well, it can easily be better than catfish, but I mean, jelly's a big part of what makes puffer tick. Catfish is really bad. I don't know why you like this item so much. They're pretty different too. Like, catfish is playable because of like day 1, day 2, day 3 boards. Puffer is something that you're trying to play to the mid and late game. Sad puffer noises. Wetware. Aight. A solid DPS option pre day 5. I would say like pre day 4, but I would agree with that. Early powerhouse. Yeah. Early powerhouse as long as you dodge the poison boards. And there have been fewer and fewer poison boards as this patch has gone on. You do want to get out of it by like day 5, day 6, I think. But there are fights where it just solos. I generally like it less than Life Preserver. So I guess Wetware can be a win condition if you don't have damage scaling, where Life Preserver can't. Need to win pre-day 5, so Catfish is good. Well, you can win day 5 with other things that scale better. Like, Catfish can be a win condition. That doesn't make it a good win condition. There's win conditions that build into comps better than Catfish does. Catfish is like, I bought a bunch of defensive items day 1, and I need a way to close the fight. So I will use Catfish to close the fight. Incendiary's still nuts, right? This goes on, like, most of my Oni Mask boards. It's crazy with Blaze Howl Warden. Yeah, I mean, I think we have different definitions of pretty strong. Like, it's a fine item. I think putting Catfish next to Grenade is, like, kind of indicative of how I feel about things. Like, Grenade is also a very good early game win condition. Double barrel, same sort of idea. But they fall off very aggressively. Arguably, these build into better boards, too. But yeah. Good with burn skills, great with Oni Mask. Enchants really well. Good item. Okay, we gotta go a bit faster. Illusoray. So I play this on Tortuga boards, which don't really exist anymore. Back in the Tortuga tier. There's no more Probo builds. Like, all the things that you would want to play Illusoray with aren't really things anymore. Torpedo. I was pretty high on Torpedo early in the patch. I feel like lately it just has not been something that I've been interested in putting on my board. I don't really know why. Just fewer ammo items on my board. Less aquatics. You go for it a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I've been skipping it most of the time. Like, I've been leaning so much on, like, these Switchblade, Hand Axe, Kusurigama sorts of starts that don't have aquatics or ammo items. The Torpedo just ends up being a thing that I'm skipping most of the time. If it lined up with a Shuriken, I'd be a lot higher on it too. Just need Zor Dive Weight's Revolver. It's easy to fit. As well with Clam. Full ammo boards don't play Clam, but Torpedo can play Clam. Are you playing Torpedo the entire game? Should S rank be build defining items and A rank be the filler items with some situational stuff? It's impossible to say what it should be. Wins even day 13. You can get shipwreck late game. I mean, does it need shipwreck to win day 13? Because I wouldn't really count that. Never got it. But it is a possibility. I'll put it here due to just lack of experience with the item, but I don't know. I have not had a torpedo game since like the first week of the patch. I almost never see other people playing it either. Overboard! Just like going around where Pistol Sword is. It's the same sort of comp. All the damage enablers play well with hoverboard. Fishing net. The worst of the econ items? Where's shovel? This goes under shovel. I don't know where shovel is. It's going in D. Whatever. Dive weights. Also one of the best items. It does everything. Gives you haste. Sometimes it's your win condition with hoverboard or pistol sword. Or incendiary rounds. We're gonna move some of these into S. Just give it time. Life preserver. Where did I put wetware? I'm just gonna put it like right next to wetware. I think it's slightly better. They're kind of different. Wetware can be a win con. Life preserver's just a bunch of sustain. I think you're more often just wanting a bit of sustain to survive for your win con to trigger, rather than needing your defense to be your win con. But more boards can play life preserver than wetware. EDC. I think I'm dropping this a tier. I think it just needs too much to go right this patch. It's felt like a bad Weatherglass most of the time that I've played it. You can't scale Weatherglass with Yeti Crab as well as you can the Depth Charge, but there's enough ways to scale the Weatherglass that I haven't felt like that's a big problem. And the lower cooldown's just such a big deal. Also being a tool. Turtle Shell is... I forgot this item still existed. Nesting Doll is Vanessa's Uzi. Huge role player for a bunch of boards. Can trigger hoverboard, can trigger incendiary rounds, can trigger piano, can trigger water wheel. Can crit, notably, for Oni Mask. Bolas. Very middle of the road item. It's a slow for... what's it called? Dart launcher. Powder keg. I have had a couple powder keg runs that were good. It asks a lot of you. It probably asks too much of you. I think it's still easier to make work than Boulder. I feel like that's true. That might not be true. It needs crit and a damage enchant. Can't Boulder B tier. Items admitting your board sucks and have no option other than Boulder. I don't know. I see enough good Boulder boards. I don't know how many people are aiming for them and just missing, but I see enough scary Boulder boards that are throwing a Boulder out at like 3 seconds that I disagree with that take. I'm rarely building towards it, but I see enough other people building towards it and hitting that... Figurehead... It's one of the ways to get damage. One of the easier ways to get damage. It's so upgrade hungry. My biggest problem with Figurehead is when I buy Figurehead and I don't see a Sterling, I'm just ready to have the most depressing game. But like, you usually see a Sterling. And it's just so important to get damage on the weapon boards. And there's just not that many ways to do it. It's like Figurehead or Skills. Or Kusarigama. Or High Roll and Early Lockbox. It just does something that nothing else can really do. Shark Ray, I have not had any Shark Rays that look good from opponents. I'm knocking it down to D. I don't know. Captain's Wheel, solid, good haste item. They get every time a player plays Nessa, the board is never Boulder and always something else. I mean, I probably lose to a boulder board like 2 or 3 times a week. It's not super common, but I don't beat a ton of boulder boards either. There's just not a whole lot of people playing boulder boards. When they're good, they're crazy. Like, there's a reason why it's not an A, but it is a solid win con that you can build towards. Captain's Wheel's your item of choice for hasting Julian lately. Yeah, it's one of the things that can do it. I'm trying to think. I guess. It could be A. What do we have left? Just gonna... I know that one's going there. We all know that one's going there. What does repeater do? When you use another ammo item, use this. So yeah, it's like the same issue that the blunderbuss has, where it needs a ton of ammo to be relevant. You do get to use it a bunch, but unless you have like a bunch of damage and a bunch of ammo, which are problems that you want to be solving for every other board already, it's easier to use than blunderbuss. It's still a medium thing. I think I'm okay putting it bottom of C. It's extra burst, but like everything is extra burst for pistol sword. Like that's not really the problem. Like I feel like every time I see these items be good, I'm losing no matter what, because they just have like a diamond steel storm or a diamond figurehead or a crazy amount of damage on lockbox. Like it's not solving a problem for the board, it's just the win condition that they're choosing to use. This isn't an item. It's a little better than not an item. It's a lot worse than it was now that you can't use it to stack Ambergris value. I have played diving helmets for tempo before, and it's been okay. I guess I haven't done it recently. Is this... I'm pretty sure I'm putting lighter in A. It's great early. It's often one of your carry items with Oni Mask. It's a 3-second item. 3 seconds is so fast. Where did you put Pop Snappers? Yeah, Pop Snappers is here. Lighter can go here. Definitely good for money printing. That doesn't work anymore. Adjacent items are aquatic in combat. Repeater's redundancy for a good board. But it's not redundancy unless you have an ungodly amount of ammo. Pesky Pete's. I don't know. It's fine. You play it sometimes. It's a burn item. Gunner Steel Storm, you're missing a pistol sword. It's going to be an upgrade for your board. I could see that. I could see that. I have... Even on ammo boards, I never find myself wanting to play Grape Shot. Even before the change to it. I don't know. Very middle of the road. Ballista. Every time I see this item, it looks terrible. Like, I don't know. I'm occasionally losing to it, but usually it's just because my board is bad. 9 seconds is just such a long time. It doesn't... It's not like it has enough damage on it, too, where you get to ignore having flat damage. It's Vanessa's highest win rate item in the mid-game. That's insane to me. I'm very not a Ballista believer. The good ammo board payoff when you lack base damage. Kind of. Kind of. Like, if you lack the base damage... Like, what part of the mid-game are we talking about? This is hitting for, like, 150 times 10, and it's outputting that damage in full after 12 seconds? I just feel like you're dead most of the time by the time that's happening. And it's not even guaranteed to kill if the opponent has any defenses. Of course, ammo, missing scaling damage, but have haste of sorts. It's a large, works with Captain's Wheel. That's fair. It's just like every time I've done that, it's been... Granted, I've only done this like 2 or 3 times, but I see opponents do this all the time, and it's just not enough damage. If you're really married to the weapon line, I could see you wanting to buy this a lot. But even then, it's gold. Like, it's showing up so late. Like, if you need to buy Ballista on day 6, don't you, like, already have 2 or 3 losses? You don't play it when you're doing well, but when you're not, it can bail you out. It just doesn't seem like it's good at bailing you out. It does not look good at bailing my opponents out. Start stacking damage to Ballista. Loot Artisan Curio. Yeah, my feeling with Ballista is if I'm buying a Ballista, I want to be out of the Ballista as soon as possible. And moving towards a better win con. Like, I don't want to be stacking Loot Artisan Curio on it. Because I feel like then I'm just dooming myself to an 8-win game. Like, especially if you're playing Ballista with Captain's Quarters. You have 4 extra slots on the board after that? Like, you get to still play the dive weights, I guess. Are you not playing aquatics to go with the dive weights? I guess the quarters is a aquatic. So you get 2 extra slots. Damn, it's still not an item. Flagship. If you can make it fast. Pretty low on this too. Katana's great. Katana's one of my favorite Julian payoffs. Plays great on some Oni Mask boards. Cove is great. Not to play it, but just econ items. Stacks Julian. Very important right now. Piranha, you play it early. Don't usually play it not early. Rock. Where's Corzina Crest? It was like a little bit above Corzina Crest. Most of the same boards want it. More boards can play the Crest than the Rock, but Rock being a weapon is kind of nice. Makes Steel Storm better. Meh. Oh, yeah, Crow's Nest is probably way too high. C tier is unordered. Whatever. Just Mantis even be in C. When I liked Mantis, it was because I wanted to play the slow synergy boards in the mid to late game, and Mantis was something that bridged that together. Now I just don't want to be in these boards. So what am I playing Mantis for? Anchor I used to play for a bunch of haste triggers. Never playing the boards that care about that right now. Silencer. Even in single weapon boards, I'm not playing Silencer. Anchor's underrated. I just feel like it's asking too much of you. If you want to play Anchor as your win con, you need to like make it fast, give it a damage enchant, and give it crit. Like, it's not that it can't be your win con, it's just it asks you to jump through too many hoops, and you're better off doing other stuff. Just being a small aquatic 4-second friend has some utility. I guess all of its utility is in items that suck, though. I have really liked Bayonet. I think it's worse than the other things. You can only play it with Shuriken. You can't play it with the dive weights. Play it with Katana. I do play a lot of Bayonet Katana. It probably still goes an A. Don't so many of my boards. Narwhal's one of the better things, but on the other side of dive weights. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Sea Shadow's great. It ends up not fitting on a lot of my boards. Sea Shadow's usually a lower priority than getting haste. And just like boards that are able to spend 2 slots on Sea Shadow while also having haste are kind of few and far between. But when you can afford to play it, it's great. Spyglass. I don't want to put it in F, but I have lost to an embarrassing number of Spyglasses. Like, You're supposed to buy this more than I do, but it's such a miserable item. I don't want to play Pig when I'm playing Vanessa. By the time gold items are showing up too, like the amount of stats that you're getting out of Tropical Island are kind of low. I don't know. Maybe it belongs in D. Maybe it belongs in B. Who knows? In terms of how often I will buy it, it's down here. This is still not a Vanessa item. Logan's sort of fine. It lines up well with Julian. That's the thing it's got going for it. It's still a poison item. I'd rather just play something faster. Coral Armor's okay early game. Gets you some defenses. Just like a worse version of the other good defensive early game items. Where are those? Over here. Sea Dog Saloon. I was low on Sea Dog Saloon before they nerfed it. Now I'm very low on it. Rowboat's great. One of the ways to make Julian faster. Generally a bit worse than Haste, but does usually really want to get to Diamond too. I've benched a lot of gold. I've benched more gold rowboats than I have played diamond rowboats, but when you're able to play it, it makes your board significantly better. So Detrina is a burst weapon champion. Nothing else when you see the tier list. There's an Oni mask right here. There's a depth charge right here. Ambergris is solid. Where'd I put Cove? It's like an easier to buy Cove. Very low on Arbalists right now. Maybe I should not be as low on it as I am, with holsters being easier to find now. And Tiny Cutlass is not a Vanessa item. Rowboat is S. It's Vanessa's best item in the late game. Well, that's just because you don't play it when it's bad, right? Like, when you're putting Rowboat on your board, it's great. But, like, the amount of times that you see Rowboat in the shop and are able to put it on your board just isn't that high. Like, it's kind of the same thing with Sea Shadow. Like, Sea Shadow is probably also an item with an insane win rate. But it's like, the situations where it's good, you know that it's good. Isn't that almost every item? I don't think so, no. Like, there's a lot of things that you end up buying and just never able to put in play, versus items that you buy and are able to play immediately. Like, I don't put in play every rowboat that I buy, even though I speculate on most of the rowboats, because the potential on it is so high. Like, I'm not just rating items by what their high roll potential is. It's also how often are they able to reach what you want them to be doing. Like, if we were just going by, like, how strong is an item when it's in an optimal spot, depth charge would be way higher. But the amount of times that you pivot to depth charge and not find enough charge skills for it drops it down. Why is Shoeblade B? Mostly because of Oni Mask. It gets you a guaranteed crit early-ish into the fight. Okay, some of this probably needs to get moved around. If I have Water Wheel this high, I should have Sea Shadow and Rowboat this high too. I think I'm okay with most of this. What do I want to move up? I think I leave Hoverboard here. I think I leave Pistol Sword here. This feels right. At least generally. Save changes. Wowie. What do I play piano with? Katana. It goes on a bunch of Oni Mask boards with, like, Nesting Doll Lighter, too.